Hello, welcome back. I'm Nick, and today we are not out in any cars because I'm introducing a new project. Those of you who do know that Millie, my 1970 Mark III Classic Mini, was built in a wooden shed. I'm fed up of working in damp sheds, and it's time to upgrade. So we're going to build a garage, but on a budget. I had some contractors come round, got some quotations in, and the cheapest one that came in for a 20 by 10 foot garage, put a concrete pad in, relevant drainage, built out of brick without a roof, and it's £12,000.
No way!
These next two videos I'm going to show you how I went about building my own garage, but overall I need some space where it was dry to work on all the cars. First things first, I need to know if I need planning permission to build a garage. First bit of information we get is garages are usually considered as outbuildings and don't need planning permission. For my own knowledge, and in case I may perhaps receive a complaint of what I'm doing on my own property, I need to dig deeper into this and find out some more information. I've come across this website from the Home Owners Alliance. I'll put the link to the website in the description below. As I've read through the website, I found what I'm looking for. Outbuildings such as sheds, garages, greenhouses and some other structures like garden rooms all also considered to fall within permitted development, so therefore do not require planning permission. Under permitted development rules, you can build an outbuilding or a garage without planning permission as long as it's a reasonable size, no higher than 4 metres. When I've looked at these things previously, there's also another bit of legislation in there, is that the eaves, the low part of the roof, can be no taller than 2.4 metres. That's how I understand it. If anybody else has any other information, please let me know in the comments below and I'll be really thankful for the advice. Regards to how big the garage can be, outbuildings cannot take up more than half the land around the original property. I have 182 square metres to the back of the property, which is where the garage is going to be built. A 20 by 10 foot garage is just under 18.6 metres squared, so I'm well within parameters for that. The last paragraph reads is to check in with your local planning authority. I contacted them. After a short discussion, there was no further concern as they confirmed it was within permitted development for the property. Moving on. This is the shed where Millie was built in. The shed was originally 10 by 8, then I put a 5-foot extension in the middle. This gave me enough room to put Millie in there and a workbench. There she is inside. At this point she was completely stripped out, the front end was cut off and there was no engine in there. When Millie was finished, she was then moved to the driveway, but then I eventually built a pallet shed around her to keep her dry over the winter time. This original shed deteriorated. It was leaking, it was damp. You see the panels there on the back, they're wet through. The amount of space required to store a car and have a workshop is minimum of 20 by 10 foot, so it means I had to dig out a bit of the garden. So we got an additional 5 foot dug out. I'd say this was end of March 23 that we did the dig out. Got it to where I wanted it, and then by the most horrendous spring, it was raining all the time, and all these banks that were upright all collapsed. So then I had a massive puddle in this area that I dug out. The situation I got is, my garden is lower than the other gardens in the area. After much thought and trying to keep this onto a budget, eventually settled by installing concrete posts and gravel boards. Behind this idea that I had is going to be some drainage installed, which we'll look at later. That's it, pick it up, get your hands on it if you want. It's only mud. It's only dinosaur poo. So here we are. I'm just digging out the front of the lawn here to take the solution to retain the front of the lawn. Conveniently, there's a storm drain that runs directly under my back garden. So what I did is I dug down to find the storm drain, tapped into that to drain away all the excess water. I mean, we've got to level it all up, but the idea's there. That's it, we're almost backfilled, coming together. Drainage is completely done. So I'll get some stone down there and down there, so all levelled up, ready to go. Put this board in. Just stop the concrete going over the top of the drainage, so it's just going to be a bit of shale at the back. took some ISJs, welded them back to back to make like C sections, and add them hot dip galvanised to take sleepers. Slotted all those in. Now the difficulty I found is how to connect the sleepers to the concrete post. From the back I had a little bit of a recess that I could perhaps use. So what I decided to do was to adapt some brackets, attach them to the sleeper first, and they hooked in just nicely behind. So all the weight that I backfilled with is pushing against that. Built some steps to get up to the garden and started levelling the lawn out. Because by this point it was summer 2023, so we could then still enjoy the garden as much as we could. I then lifted the rest of the slabs that the original shed sat on, and I started mocking up the frame for pouring the concrete pad. Got some steel to reinforce the pad, because I eventually intend having some sort of ramp or lift in here at some point. I had the concrete poured. The pad took about 2 weeks to set. I ordered 3.6 meters cubed of concrete to create the 20 by 10 foot pad, and ended up being just over about 6 inches thick. Perfect. Thank you very much for watching. That's all for part 1. In part 2, what we're going to do is we're going to have a look at what we ended up collecting and how that's going to work for the application that we need on the pad we've just built. That's all from me, and I'll see you next time.